The question is God judging North America? In fact, is God judging the West?
Eid resonates in this room, across this city, and I may say it should resonate with all Canadians. It's a story that some of us hear with slightly different nomenclature, whether the prophet is called Ibrahim or Abraham, Ishmael or Isaac. The lessons and values of Eid are the same. Canada, our Canada, is a diverse country, proud home to different languages, different beliefs, different cultures. Those are differences that make us unique and make us strong. We can pray differently, we can gather in different places of worship, but all of us come together, all of us must come together around the values of Eid. The values of community, of generosity, and yes, of sacrifice. These are Muslim values. These are Canadian values.
As you mentioned, mine is the first visit of a Canadian Prime Minister to China in nearly a decade. The world has changed much since that last visit. And I believe the progress that we have made in the partnership sets us up well for the new world order. For the new world order. For the new world order.
But to deny the reality of our inner being leads to an inner darkness which can quickly extend outwards into the world of nature. This, then, is why the wisdom and learning offered by a sacred tradition like Islam matters. The Islamic world is the custodian of one of the greatest treasuries of accumulated wisdom and spiritual knowledge available to humanity. And yet, so often, that wisdom is now obscured by the dominant drive towards Western materialism. The modernist ideology that has dominated the Western outlook for a century implies that tradition is backward-looking. This is far from true. It looks forward. Think what could be achieved if mothers and fathers, the teachers in madrasas and imams, all sought to demonstrate to children how to translate.
A house divided against itself will not stand.
There has been talk about ending the filibuster or even packing the court, adding to the 9 justices there. You call this a distraction by the president, but in fact it wasn't brought up by the president. It was brought up by some of your Democratic colleagues in the Congress. So my question to you is, you have refused in the past to talk about it. Are you willing to tell the American people tonight whether or not you will support either ending the filibuster or packing the court?
Whatever position I take on that, that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should speak. You should go out and vote. You're in voting now. Vote and let your senators know how strongly you feel. Vote now.
Are you going to pack the
Make
court?
sure you, in fact, let people know you're a senator.
I'm
not going to answer the question.
Why would you answer that
because
question?
the question is, the question is,
Justice, radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe? Who's on your list?
Gentlemen, I think
this
we've
is
ended
so
this.
He's going to pack the court.
To be careful about the language that they use. The honorable leader of the opposition.
His quadrupling carbon tax is all financial pain and no environmental gain. Today we learned that Canada, after 9 years of this Prime Minister, now ranks 62nd out of 67 countries for the Climate Change Performance Index. The Prime Minister says the Canadians starving or lined up at food banks should congratulate themselves for the fact that his tax has made us 62nd. We're 62nd, he pumps his fist into the air, Mr. Speaker.
Shameful.
Why does the Prime Minister make Canadians pay such high taxes to achieve such terrible results?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, once again, the Leader of the Opposition is entirely misrepresenting the facts for his own gain, for his own interest. That's really all he cares about. If he cared about Canadians, he wouldn't be standing against dental care. He wouldn't be standing against more spaces in childcare. He wouldn't be standing against putting more money in Canadians' pockets with a price on pollution that is bending our emissions down faster than our other G7 neighbours, at the same time as it's helping with affordability for 8 out of 10 Canadians in areas in which it lands. The Canada Carbon Rebate is an affordability measure that is protecting future generations, and he is standing.
Some of the most damage ever done to a Western nation was done by this man, by getting into office. And this is how he got into office. I also tell you that in 2012-13, with the Harper government, the Canadian dollar was over $1 American. And now we're at about 72 cents.
Focused on the harm being done to young people and to communities across this country with the easy access Mr. Harper's approach gives to children for marijuana use, and the fact that their approach continues to fund street gangs, organized crime, and gun runs. We believe that we need a new approach on controlling and regulating marijuana, and we will draw on best practices from around the world, work with provinces on implementation, and ensure that we're protecting our kids and removing the black market and the criminal elements from.
After 15 years pulling pints at this blues bar, Neil McIntosh thought he knew what to expect from this usually older crowd.
Sounds good.
So when one man in his late 50s stood up and promptly collapsed in front of the stage, he assumed the worst.
You see this scene, you're like, oh God, okay, instantly 911.
Turns out it wasn't a heart attack or a stroke. It was something else entirely.
Paramedics came and it was assessed that, he had eaten an edible and just couldn't handle it.
McIntosh says it's the third time it's happened this year. Toronto emergency physician Dr. Michael Szabo says he's also seeing more cannabis-related emergencies.
We're seeing a lot of people out there who are accidentally ingesting huge amounts of cannabis. And they're not realizing that what they're taking in is excessive.
New numbers provided to CBC News by the Canadian Institute for Health Information show Canadians are increasingly ending up in emergency rooms because of cannabis-related poisoning or overdoses. Over 3 years, the number of visits has nearly tripled in Ontario.
Now, I will stop you there. And I will tell you, when I use Facebook still, social media, and engaged on there, there was a conversation going saying that marijuana was going to be all the different good sides to it. This is, I don't know, as it was being legalized. And I said, I don't agree with you. I think it's a gateway drug, number one. It may or may not be. It's both of them. But I said, within 5 years, wait for the stats to come out from the hospital ERs and from the psych wards. Within 5 years, the results came out. This isn't it right here. This is not it, what I'm showing you. But one of the reasons why our ERs and certainly the psych ward is because of people tripping out on marijuana.
In his early 20s, Sean Heron was hearing voices, sometimes telling him to hurt himself.
I would start hearing what I thought was people talking to me through the vents.
After getting help, Heron was diagnosed with schizophrenia. He's part of a growing number of young people in Ontario with a psychotic disorder, according to new research in the Canadian Medical Association Journal.
A chronic psychotic disorder, it's characterized by having hallucinations. People can have intense delusions.
Researchers looked at Ontario health data from more than 12 million people born between 1960 to 2009. They found that diagnoses of psychotic disorders in those aged 14 to 20 increased over time. Specifically, when comparing 1997's cohort of 14 to 20-year-olds with that in 2023, the rate jumped by 60%. Researchers suspect this is a global trend.
We're finding people sooner with their psychotic symptoms and getting them care. But I don't think that explains the full picture.
Researchers think one other factor might be the increasing use of cannabis. Past research shows people under the age of 18 are at a higher risk of psychosis if they frequently use cannabis with high THC levels.
In males, we're seeing a younger age of onset and a stronger correlation to cannabis use.
This early psychosis intervention program is being overwhelmed with referrals and has a months-long waiting list.
This is a crisis, and we don't need to wait any longer to address it.
There's a disturbing trend in Canada that should alarm every Canadian who values religious freedom: the continuing wave of attacks on Christian churches across the country. Early Monday morning, May 18th, 2026, firefighters were called to 156 Wellington Street in London, Ontario, a former church building. Flames broke out around 3 a.m. in the rear addition and heavy smoke filled the neighborhood. Thankfully, crews contained the fire before it destroyed the original historic church structure. Damage is still estimated at about $1 million, focused on the addition, roof, and walls, but no one was hurt, and the cause is still under investigation. Scarlett Grace with Rebel News. This is not just an isolated incident. Since 2021, Canada has seen over 100 churches vandalized, set on fire, or completely burned to the ground.
What?
The causes of many of these suspicious fires are still under investigation, but more than 33 churches have been completely destroyed by fire between May 2021 and late 2023 alone, with only 2 of them ruled accidental. That means that the vast majority were deliberate. Arsons against religious institutions nearly doubled compared to the previous period. In some provinces, especially British Columbia, Ontario, and the Prairies, the spike has been dramatic, to say the least. Let's not forget that May 2021 is when the story broke about the alleged 215 unmarked graves at the site of a former residential school in Kamloops, British Columbia. The findings that still remain anomalies because no excavations or exhumations have been conducted to confirm that there are any human remains there at all.
This is Vancouver, British Columbia, the epicenter of Canada's overdose epidemic and where drug addicts come to die.
I can buy my fentanyl right off my doctor.
Man, I've been smoking crack all day. It's not
No, I hear you.
It's the drug user.
We've gone so far as to provide drugs to people from a vending machine.
In January 2023, British Columbia became the first and only province in Canada to decriminalize small amounts of hard drugs.
All drugs are good and balanced.
You can thank Justin Trudeau for that.
In an effort to destigmatize drug use, reduce criminal prosecution, and encourage drug users to seek out medical help.
I mean, these people are insane. They have no life to begin with. Oh, wow. And it's done in the open.
1 year into the experiment, though, BC drug overdose deaths reached record highs, with 7 people dying every day, prompting the government to recriminalize the use and possession of drugs in public in April 2024. But was Canada's decriminalization experiment a complete failure, or was it just missing a few other critical pieces in this puzzle of solving addiction? I pulled up to downtown East Hastings at night to see if people were still using drugs in public and what the solution to this epidemic might be.
British Columbia is ending its 3-year drug decriminalization pilot, saying it didn't deliver the results the province hoped for. And as Penny Daphlos reports, the NDP is coming under fire from both supporters and opponents of the experiment.
Whether it's on the street or behind closed doors, toxic drugs are killing thousands of British Columbians of all walks of life every year. Since 2023, users haven't had to worry about being arrested for possessing drugs for their own consumption, but that exemption is now ending.
The pilot hasn't delivered the results that we hoped for.
The health minister claims not enough people sought treatment to justify the decriminalization program, while also acknowledging
we don't make public policy in a vacuum, of course, and we want to make the best, most informed, evidence-driven decisions, and we make that in context of public awareness and the perspectives that we have heard loudly and clearly from communities.
Decriminalization didn't hurt anyone.
Yeah, that we have heard from people. Yeah, my house just got robbed.
Tonight, along a roadway in southern Mexico, a seemingly endless stream of people making their way on foot towards the United States. Men, women, and children walking through pouring rain and sweltering heat. They come from across Latin America, places like Venezuela, Cuba, and Colombia, all with the same goal, immigration to the U.S.
We left Colombia because of the homophobia. We both got physically and verbally attacked. We had to cross the Darien jungle and trails through many xenophobic countries.
It's the latest and one of the largest migrant caravans to make the nearly 2,000-mile trek north through Mexico. The group's journey began Monday in the city of Tapachula. Organizers claim there are nearly 15,000 migrants in the caravan, but authorities in Mexico estimate it's closer to 5,000.
Look at all of these girls in Gaza with Arabic in the background. What? Sorry? Oh, this is Texas? What? Now check this out. This is from Mecca. Oh, sorry guys. This is from Texas as well.
We have enough authority and we have enough power. We are obliged as Muslims to take the authority away from the people who have it and implement the Sharia.
So you believe America, Great Britain, all of Europe will be Islamic states living under Sharia eventually?
Inevitably.
We need somebody like Mamdani to be the mayor of New York. And that is a victory for the Ummah.
And it's not going to happen in Texas. It's not going to happen in the United States of America. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
How you doing? This is Sahar TV and welcome to the Islamification of the United States episode. I don't even know.
I wish you never came to my country. You lose up. This is my country. My country. You fucking stupid. Which country, sir? You don't even know which country. Fuck you. You don't even have a country.
Canadians better wake the hell up and wake the hell up fast to what's going on in this country. I live in Ottawa and it's truly shocking. It's like you're walking around in Iran, Iraq. There are Palestinian flags all over the place. There are more veiled women than there are people without veils on walking around. This country is literally being invaded. Immigration without assimilation is invasion.
How you doing? This is Sahar TV and welcome to the Islamification of Canada. In today's
New York came alive on Friday as thousands of Muslims gathered for Ramadan Taraweeh prayers. This marks the 5th year the annual event has been held in the iconic city landmark. Organizers said they distributed nearly 2,000 free meals to help Muslims break their fast, and anyone in need was welcome to share the meal.
Being over here doing it the 5th time, we're grateful to the city of New York who provided another permit. Another time, they haven't shut me down yet. We're still going strong, alhamdulillah. And New York City Department of for buildings and NYPD, they're just over here supporting us, and we're looking forward to more years of success.
To be able to come here, feed people, especially if anyone is homeless.
I can't keep spending all day handing out resumes and all day emailing people.
When I became manager, I only hired my own people.
That all Canadians deserve a real and fair chance at success.
We all know why white students can't find a job in this damn city.
I'm so happy. Out of 200 people, I got the job to work at KFC.
So racism is supposed to be unacceptable and taken seriously, unless you're Indian. Then it's somehow just a joke. Got it.
Some sectors are showing more weakness than others. There were fewer Canadians working in construction.
Man, them are telling me they're not getting a job. Shit, like, I'm not racist.
Everyone's kind of talking about in this city.
It's gone viral. It really has.
And it's gone national as well. And people can't quite believe it, but it's worth revisiting again. And Melissa's talked about this already. Car thefts are what they are in the GTA. This is not a new issue. Home invasions to get to your car keys are unfortunately increasing and getting more violent. Terrifying stuff. So last month at a safety meeting, Constable Marco Ricciardi of Toronto Police had a suggestion about where to put your keys with all of these break-ins happening. For those who haven't heard or seen this, again, here it is.
To prevent the possibility of being attacked in your home, leave your fobs at your front door. Break-in-enters, because they're breaking into your home to steal your car. They don't want anything else. A lot of them that they're arresting have guns on them, and they're not toy guns, they're real guns. They're loaded.
So the commentary on that was, as you might expect, thick. Toronto Police yesterday on Twitter had to post the following. An officer at a recent community meeting suggested that people leave the keys to their vehicle in a bag of some sorts by the front door. While well-meaning, there are better ways to prevent auto theft motivated home invasions. Meredith Shaw, where would you like to start with this?
Well, I mean, I think I'm glad that the Toronto Police released that, and I do think that that is correct. I'm sure that was a well-meaning, well-intended statement, but when you look to people to protect us, it seems a funny piece of advice.
You think? Come one, come all, right? Do you know what? So this is Canada. Pardon me one sec. This is in Canada. Okay, this was Toronto. But this goes for every single city. Crime tourism. Under the Trudeau government, people from Africa come over here, so they ship our expensive vehicles back over to Africa. That's what's happening. And you saw what that officer said. Leave your fob at the door. You should just leave the door open, right? It'd make you even more safe, so they don't have to smash a window, right? But crime tourism. And they know it. They know who the people are. I even know an undercover police officer who told me they follow people. And even when they have the car, they can't do anything because they're looking for the bigwigs. And so crime tourism, they come during the winter months. Imagine this. They know they come. They come and then they leave. So they come here and they wait for the days where it's the longest amount of darkness. Because it gets dark here for quite some time during the winter. Can you imagine this? Trudeau government. And you don't think that God is judging the West?
Police say they've made a number of arrests with suspects linked to organized crime. CTV's Janice Golding joins us live with more details on this. Janice.
Hi, Nathan. Yes, Durham Regional Police say they have arrested close to 4 dozen people in an investigation they have dubbed Project Jet Setter. They say 46 people in total are facing close to 1,500 charges for so-called criminal tourism, and another 164 arrest warrants have been issued for people they're still searching for. Essentially, investigators say they've uncovered a network of people connected to organized crime groups who enter Canada legally to commit crime for financial gain. The suspects are accused of large-scale retail thefts, vehicle and financing fraud, staged collisions, distraction-style thefts, and the exportation of vehicles of goods. Police say the majority of the suspects come from Romania, with a smaller portion coming from India, and they travel.
Sure doesn't look at it like it, and I don't believe those are the actual stats.
Israel, burn, burn!
Fanning the flames. Politicians across the country accusing speakers at a downtown pro-Palestinian rally of crossing the line.
I find this sort of violence completely unacceptable. This sort of hate should have no place in British Columbia.
David Eby also condemning the actions. In a statement saying this kind of rhetoric is wrong and has no place in our province, the rally was organized in part by a group known as Samadoun, which claims to be a grassroots movement advocating for Palestinian freedom.
Death to Canada! Death to the United States! And death to Israel!
Critics, including the federal Conservatives, saying the Liberal government must take action.
Samadoun has been fomenting these violent and horrific protests and mob actions. This organization is a front for an already banned terrorist group.
Samadoun has already been banned in Germany. Soldiers raiding operations there last fall, directly tying the group to Hamas.
Canada's fire authorities have never seen anything like it.
They're breaking all records here.
Almost 6,000 separate wildfires have burnt all over the country.
It's the worst forest fire in record history. It's never happened before.
The fires are more intense, they're bigger.
That path needs to go! Where's that truck?
Canada has been overwhelmed.
I lost my home, I lost my vehicles, I lost all my tools.
So an international force of firefighters, thousands strong,
it's a mammoth effort,
has been flown in to help.
We're all in it together now.
Hotel Romeo. Foreign correspondent takes you inside the fire ground. Find out how a nation better known for snow and ice is coping.
More than 15 million hectares of thick forest has been scorched, and Canada's Black Summer is not over.
3 massive wildfires rage near Spokane, Washington.
All of our memories are gone.
It's just heartbreaking.
Highest in Korea's 122-year weather observation history.
You can see the thick flames, the black smoke.
We are facing major energy shortages here.
We need to recognise that water security is a critical part of our food security, and food security is our national security.
Wildfires continuing to burn across Europe and parts of the United States, yet more temperature records being broken. The extreme heat continues. So over the next 10 minutes or so, we'll have the latest from around the world and assess what the implications are for all of us. First, look at this map from NASA. The red areas show all the active fires and what they call thermal anomalies in the last 24 hours. They are areas that are currently exhibiting unusual temperature differences. That can be from fire, hot smoke, agriculture, or other sources. Well, 3 of those major fires are burning in Washington around the city of Spokane, with officials warning that they have not yet been contained. Adam Yamaguchi from our US partner CBS News has more details.
Fierce wildfires are raging on residential streets in eastern Washington state. Fire crews and residents in Spokane encountering apocalyptic scenes, fast-moving flames tearing through neighborhoods and engulfing one house after another.
Look at that. Holy moly.
Fire officials say flames jumped the Spokane River, the towering walls of black and orange smoke swallowing the suburban skyline.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Donalda Brantley recorded this video as she and her boyfriend evacuated their neighborhood with only the clothing.
The United States Department of Agriculture has recently disclosed updates related to the bird flu virus that is spreading through dairy cattle. They highlighted the potential pathways leading to the surge in infections. The outrage attributed to the H5N1 subtype continues to impact dairy farms across multiple states. USDA scientists have indicated that the avian virus might not be disseminating directly from cow to cow through respiratory means. Analysis conducted by USDA researchers revealed the presence of the virus primarily in milk samples rather than in nasal swabs or blood from the affected cows. This observation suggested that the virus may be transmitted through milk droplets on dairy workers' attire or gloves. The virus could also be transmitted via milking equipment such as suction cups attached to the udders. The outbreak attributed to the H5N1 subtype has inflicted severe devastation on wild birds and poultry globally for over 2 years. Initial assumptions implicated migratory birds in spreading the virus to affected dairy farms.
New warning about the threat of ticks and the rapid rise of an infection called anaplasmosis. It's the second most common disease spread by ticks, and researchers say it's showing up in several provinces.
Last year, we did 11 sites and we only found 18 ticks. This year, we did 2 sites and found almost 170 ticks. So that's a huge difference. If you haven't had a tick on you, I can guarantee you that either you or somebody that you know is going to get a tick on you soon, because that's how prevalent they are.
Black-legged ticks transmit Lyme disease and anaplasmosis through bites. Symptoms can include fever, weakness, headache, and gastrointestinal distress. According to the Canadian Medical Association Journal, researchers say recognizing the disease early and getting treatment can prevent life-threatening complications.
All right, y'all, this whole tick situation is getting completely out of control. I sat in this very chair, in this very spot, just last week, and I was actually recording a video. And during that time, which I was sitting here probably about an hour, I pulled over 50 ticks off of me. And you know, the common idea is that ticks are opportunistic. You walk by and like you brush against a blade of grass or something like that, and they kind of brush off onto your skin. That's how they get on you. I sat in this chair and didn't move. And these ticks were seeking me out. I don't know where they were coming from. I guess they were coming from just the environment around me. But the fact that I was sitting right here and over 50 ticks within an hour is obscene. And this year it's been completely out of control. I've gotten more ticks off me this year than I've ever had on me in my entire life. I'm talking hundreds of ticks. I did a video recently talking about how I was fishing with a friend of mine about an hour from here, and I mean literally I was walking around this pond and over 100 ticks, it was probably hundreds actually of ticks, just got on me within 15-20 minutes of fishing. And it took me about 30 minutes. I got in the back of my buddy's truck and I picked them off. I had to strip down basically to my underwear and pick these ticks off. And for 30 minutes straight, it was hundreds of ticks. And now I'm sitting here in my chair and I'm getting ticks all over me. I cannot walk outside without getting ticks all over me. I've gotten dozens of ticks off my dog. I probably had at least a dozen ticks attached to me. I'm talking Lone Star, black-legged ticks, deer ticks, dog ticks, you name it ticks. I've had a lot of ticks on me. This year is the worst tick year that I've ever seen in my 41 years of existing. And I've lived in the country. I grew up on a farm. I'm no stranger to ticks, but this is unlike anything I've ever seen. And now we've got people talking about how they're walking through the woods, finding these dead moose and stuff up north, just covered in thousands of ticks.
Thank you, Minister. You are the Minister of Canadian Identity and Culture. Do you believe that religion is an integral part of Canadian culture and identity?
Absolutely.
So you obviously know where this is going. On October 30th, when you were the chair of the Justice Committee, you spoke about how there is, quote, clear hatred in some verses of the Bible and Torah, and that prosecutors should be able to have the discretion to lay charges if someone invokes a particular scripture that you find objectionable. So how are you standing up for the various diverse communities, faith communities in particular, that you extolled in your opening statement, when you believe that sincerely held religious beliefs should attract prosecution?
I believe anyone should be able to freely read the Bible, Torah, Quran, or any religious scripture. It's a guarantee in the Charter that I will defend as well as you will.
Unless it's a verse that you don't like.
What I said, and you were there, no, I'm glad to answer that.
Go.
Mr. McDonald?
This has nothing to do with the budget or the BIA Act.
Thank you.
It stems from comments made in his opening statement, Madam Chair.
Excuse me. Yeah, I didn't recognize you, Mr. Lawton. Mr. McDonald, it's not a point of order. Thank you very much, Mr. Lawton. You can continue to have the floor, but I would ask that you be recognized before you take it. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that I don't think a religious scripture should be used as a defense for a hate crime. If someone publicly says that they want to kill all the gays and that they are relying on a passage in Leviticus, they should be prosecuted. Hard stop. And I'm a Christian. I believe firmly that person should be prosecuted.
And that would not be a good faith usage of Scripture.
That's your debate, but sometimes prosecutors may be prevented from laying charges because there's some hesitation. I think it needs to be clear in the law, and I think you would agree with it, and any reasonable person would as well.
You mentioned back in December, I think if you talk to people of faith and even religious leaders, they would see that this is really something that makes sense regarding removing those religious speech protections from the criminal code. I have spoken to people of faith and religious leaders, and Bill C-9 and the removal of the religious defense has been denounced by the Primate of the Anglican Church of Canada, the United Church of Canada, the National Council of Canadian Muslims, the Rabbinical Council of Toronto, the Conference of Canadian Catholic Bishops, the Evangelical Fellowship of Canada. Why do you believe that you know more than these faith groups about religious freedom and protections for religion in Canada?
As a Protestant, I rely on my relationship with Jesus and my reading of the Bible. I believe ministers can be guides. So I think I stand on an equal footing. I think you would agree with me with that. But if you really want to protect religious institutions, you will talk to Pierre Poilievre, Parliament's only temporary foreign worker, and have him pass C-9 to protect religious institutions.
Vancouver, blistering beneath an unforgiving sun, Vancouver swelters amid record-breaking heat. The phenomenon known as a heat dome is trapping air from the Pacific Ocean while heating it, compressing it down like a saucepan lid. For those having to live with its oppressive effects, it's been a brutal few days. Some of the homeless are being helped. In the city of Surrey, one of the worst affected areas, they've never seen anything like it.
Last year we had about 9 sudden deaths. This year, 2021, from Saturday to this Wednesday morning, we've had 59 sudden deaths. So that's a huge, significant increase.
It's so hot they're spraying bridges to stop the steel expanding. Politicians are warning about the impacts which could lie ahead.
The big lesson coming out of the past number of days is that the climate crisis is not a fiction, it is absolutely real. And if you look, I've had a briefing from the Wildfire Service yesterday and again today, the entire west coast of North America from Baja to Alaska is...
and king, so I want to help you with that. We haven't had, as I said a week ago, a king in our history, well, until now. America has been gradually becoming a kingdom with a king, an evil kingdom with an evil king and his evil agents. How did that happen? Turn to Romans chapter 1, and I want to rehearse for you some very important portions of Scripture. Verse 18, for the wrath of God is revealed from heaven. Now, the wrath of God takes many forms. It could be eternal wrath. It could be eschatological wrath, the wrath that's described in the book of Revelation. It could be the wrath of sowing and reaping, built-in judgment to certain behaviors. But this wrath is not any of those, but rather described as follows. It's wrath against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who suppress the truth in unrighteousness. So it's a kind of wrath that has to unfold on a society that is suppressing truth. Wherever you have a society suppressing truth, it necessarily then is characterized by ungodliness and unrighteousness. That which is known about God, says verse 19, is evident within them, for God made it evident to them. For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes, his eternal power, and his divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood through what has been made, so that they are without excuse. God has revealed himself to the degree that man is without excuse if he doesn't acknowledge the existence of God. And when men suppress that knowledge in ungodliness and unrighteousness, a kind of wrath comes out of heaven. This wrath is for those, verse 21, who knew God, did not honor him as God or give thanks. It comes on a society that inexcusably turned against the living God who is the creator of all. And in the case of our society, turns against the revelation of Scripture, which has been available to everyone.
Now, I thought you guys would get a kick out of this. I just picked this up today. So this is recent. So let's listen to this. This is about flock cameras in the United States.
The Emperor is a fan of flock, and we must continue utilizing flock technologies so that we can follow and surveil the rebel scum as they move from playground to playground, from playground to pool, from pool to gymnasium, because we all know that the flock cameras are not only following the license plate readers, they are following children. They are following children in parks and gymnasiums, and we need this. I need this so I can stalk my ex-girlfriend. Also, it should be known that the people of this town, the pools that want their storm drains cleared, they should not have their storm drains cleared. Because in order to do that, we will have to raise taxes. And how will the people trust this city council when this city council continues to vote for surveillance technology that imprisons them? Miss Campbell, you must work on your Jedi mind tricks. Do it like this. And when you do it, make sure that when you're double speaking them into telling them that police services have become more humanitarian, make sure that you don't emphasize the detail that you put a ban on camping. You put a ban. You made criminalizing homelessness illegal, and that is why there is no such thing as humanitarian policing for the homeless, because we have effectively criminalized homelessness, which is good. Now we can staff. Now we can fill our jails with free prison labor, especially like that of the Otay Mason Detention Center, where they are making $1 a day for working for 12 hours. And there have been multiple cases of tuberculosis. Yes, and this is good. This is what the Emperor needs. This technology will help us find the rebel scum and their hidden base on Hoth. This technology will help us find Luke Skywalker as he traverses the universe in his X-Wing. This technology is a necessary force.
Thank you. Roger Ralphs.
Flock Vader.
Let's talk about storm total with how much rain we've actually seen. Actually, Chris Bianchi, do you have your microphone on? Yeah, Chris, you've been monitoring this. Chris actually from our sister station out in Denver. He's been kind of our stats guy behind the scenes. If you want to, here, you can use my remote control here.
Yeah, and so...
Chris, but first of all, man, thank you so much. I mean, you've been a tremendous help to our team here at 10 Tampa Bay, not just the weather team, but the whole 10 Tampa Bay team on keeping us updated. You've been monitoring power outages. You've been looking at a lot of the stats with the rainfall and just keeping us posted and monitoring flooding.
High impact situation, and one not to be taken lightly, but certainly keeping close tabs on the amount of rainfall that we've seen, perhaps at times maybe a little bit overlooked, especially with the winds and the storm surge that we had yesterday. The rain really making just an enormous impact here, especially in the Orlando area and just off to our east. So some of those rainfall estimates, in fact, going back to this here for a quick second, what we tend to see with these tropical systems, we tend to get these kind of narrow bands of...
So I think this was in 2023. I noted this in my mind because I had never heard anything like this before. So in Florida, I believe in Orlando, in a certain time period, as you can see, this is in inches, 16.8 inches of rain. But I remember it was Orlando. It was like something like 6 hours. You're going to have to look that up. They had 12.8 inches of rain. Let's just say it happened over a 24-hour period. That's huge. And so this is when I remember one of the times when our storms were starting to get insane. And you guys who are following the scriptures and the prophecies and wondering if, we know this world is being judged, but America and the West is being judged. Well, the world is, but the world is by weather. And anyways, I'd like to try to establish some of the things that have happened in that time. And I'm going to take you to one that happened in my own city. There was I'm glad at when this occurred, I was not outside. And the only person who died, I went to high school with and I knew. So I told the guy in this video actually to, what did I say to him? Anyways, I told him he would get a lot of hits if he did something, and he did it, and he did get a lot of hits. This is a derecho that passed through Ottawa. I mean, we never see this type of thing. You know, some of them were getting tornadoes, derechos. There was a tornado right at my building. But yes, I saw this. I watched it out my bay window, a huge window in my courtyard. And so take a look at this. It's pretty scary. This is all signs. These are all signs that are not normal. This was 1,000 miles long. It went from Quebec, Ontario, and into the United States. Pay attention in the distance. Imagine you're walking outside when this occurs.
It's okay, baby.
That's crazy. I was 2 miles away from that.
Fucking tornado.
News right now. Breaking news from Australia. Chaos at Bondi Beach minutes ago. Video that you're watching right now shows beachgoers fleeing the area as gunshots ring out. Australian police confirmed 10 people are dead, including a suspect, and then 11 others are injured, 2 of them officers. People are in custody. 2 people are in custody right now, and authorities telling people to avoid that area as multiple agencies respond to that area at this time.
Access to abortion care in the Bay State is now even more far-reaching, with the governor signing a new law this morning. Perform the procedure solely based on their professional judgment. For example, if a patient experiences a complication later in their pregnancy, it'll be up to the physician to decide if that case requires an abortion.
Keeley just signed a law which, in essence, allows for the deletion of babies to the point of birth. Now, previously, the state had a 24-week gestational limit on ending pregnancies. That is no more. Here is the gleeful signing of this bill. Take a look.
Thank you.
This bill is called the Prioritizing Patient Access to Care Act. And the governor also went on to tweet this. In Massachusetts, women and their families shouldn't have to cross state lines for abortion care doctors can provide in our state. Today, I signed a law so they won't have to. Real Freedom means healthcare decisions belong to women and their doctors, not their government. So that's the news. This is not my opinion. This is evil. Deeply, deeply, profoundly evil. As a father of 3 young children, this sickens my heart. If you've ever seen an ultrasound of a 12-week-old baby inside the mother's womb, unmistakably human, beautiful in God's creation, who's knit this angel together. Even at 12 weeks, if you want to use the most...
So they use pliers with teeth. So they go up with pliers and it has teeth. So they don't anesthetize them. They don't do anything like that. And I can't even imagine how much pain that is for these jaws of, not jaws of life, but jaws of death, chewing up a baby's head and body while it's alive. And now it's going to happen up to 9 months. Now, I'm just going to finish off in this way. The Bible was taken out of schools, or they weren't allowed to. There are court cases, both in probably throughout all the West, but certainly Canada and the United States, I'm aware of those. I don't study the other ones. But, you know, they're no longer found in hotels, and you don't think God notices this stuff. And this is just a mere, a minute amount of things that I could show you. So my question to you is, do you think God is judging the West? I think the answer is without question. What will it take for you to understand that our way of life is not the same? The birth pains are occurring as we're looking at a womb. But as you can see in this picture where the baby is, if this represents Jesus, no, we're almost on our way out. God bless those who stayed with and watched everything I had to show.